Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Cilinix Crypto. Hope you're all doing great, and welcome to this new video here on XRP. We're going to do a full update here on the current situation. We'll zoom in, we'll zoom out a bit, and there's some fundamentals that I want to talk about. Regarding Ripple, a little bit still about the hidden road deal. Wow. Of course, last Friday, I think we had the news of Hashkey launching an XRP tracker fund in Asia. Also backed by Ripple, but that's, I mean, we're not really seeing that much effects from that. And in general, that's also a bit old news. But we might still, I mean, when that actually goes live and when we actually see numbers coming into that tracker fund, then that might actually cause some price action. So definitely something worth to keep an eye on. But that's what we'll do. So let's get right into it. Overnight, we've been relatively volatile to the price action of the entirety of last week, which was obviously incredibly quiet. I mean, yesterday we also talked about the fact that the volume right now for XRP, or at least yesterday, was incredibly low. I think right now it has returned to more normal values right here. XRP is back in that. What is it, like top 5 in terms of 8-hour volume, so that's good to see. And then outside of that, I think the normal spot volume is up quite a bit as well, because as most of you know, overnight we had some pretty big moves. Of course, the moves for Bitcoin here, as you can see, were much bigger than the moves were for XRP, but XRP still reacted to that. Even though, I mean, XRP has just moved into that liquidity zone right here, around 2.15. So the question is all right, well, most of the movement here for XRP is because of Bitcoin. Obviously, they're still very correlated right now for about 81.3% in the last 24 hours. So that's incredibly high. So then the question is well, right, what do we expect from Bitcoin and how will that affect XRP? Because even though the correlation is quite high, it's not 100%, right? And what we talked about yesterday, for example, is that XRP BTC, so the relative strength of XRP compared to Bitcoin, is at a major support, and I don't see any reason why that would break. All right, so that means that, you know, this move for Bitcoin is quite shady. There's quite a lot of volume, but we left a lot of imbalances to the downside, and it's a move on a Monday morning. Monday morning in the Asian session at least. So those moves are always a little bit tricky. So in short, I expect Bitcoin to pull back to at least fill these imbalances, and then from there either bounce or break down below them, which would be the worst case scenario. But because XRP has rallied a little bit with Bitcoin and still has that XRP BTC support, I think XRP has a very good buffer to still fall down into. Obviously, the main support we have is around 2.05. I think if Bitcoin pulls back towards like 86,000, 85,500, I think 2.05 will just hold, all right? So then we will just basically continue with the stability we've seen last week for XRP. And from that stability, a lot is possible, but I would say, given the position right now of XRP in the bigger range we're in, between, what is it, 2.75 and $2, I would say the most likely direction is up. That's also the direction of the markets, all right, regardless of what Bitcoin does on the lower time frames. And then if Bitcoin pulls down much lower, then I think this level right here at 1.95 and $2 for XRP still is enough support, or enough of a buffer to support the price. All right, so worst case scenario, we do something like this. Best case scenario, we do something like this. But short term, look, XRP might dip into that liquidity zone to the upsides a little bit higher, but ultimately I do think we'll pull back. Now, I completely forgot to talk about these fundamentals, so this is also just in general, I mean, this is one of the most interesting fundamental developments for Ripple in a while, and that's obviously their acquisition of Hidden Road. We had a little bit more information about how Hidden Road is going to be integrated with the XRP ledger. We'll talk about that a little bit more tomorrow. All right, I don't think that influences the price action on the short term. It's very interesting, so that's why I do want to talk about it, but that's for later. For now, have a great Monday. Take care and bye.